The symbol remains. The new Blue Oyster Cult album and their first album of new material for almost 20 years is due to be released on October the 9th, 2020. I'll say this now, I love the Blue Oyster Cult. They've been part of the soundtrack of my life since the early 70s, and it's great to have them back making albums again. I must admit though, I wasn't too keen on the last two studio albums, Heaven Forbid and Curse of the Hidden Mirror. Apart from the odd track, the band just seemed to be off the pace and a bit lackluster. But I have high hopes, really high hopes for this new album. Especially with Deep Purple's new album Whoosh being so good. It just seems like it's the right time for these legends, these classic rockers, to come back and make great records again. A couple of days ago, August the 27th, 2020, the band dropped a couple of tracks from the album. As a little teaser, Box in My Head and That Was Me. Are they any good? Yes, they bloody are. That Was Me kicks off with a classic driving riff that any metal band worth their salt would be proud of. Mr. Eric Bloom takes the lead vocal and he tells us, "You see those bullet holes in highway signs? That was me. When you see a broken bottle of real fine wine? That was me. When a woman weeps at a window and tears all shiny, Black Widow, think of me. Was done by me. Yes sirree, that was me." Eric Bloom still has, at 75 years old, one of the best and the most distinctive voices in rock music. And you know what? I bet he even plays stun guitar on this track. Another thing I've always loved about the Blue Oyster Cult is their great sense of melody and those gorgeous harmony vocals. All are present on this track. At 2 minutes 6 seconds into the track, the band take us into a lovely piece of heavy metal funk, while Mr. Buck Dharma steps forward and gives us a jagged, molten guitar solo, which leads us into the bridge of the song and Eric's distorted vocals. Lie, Oh Life is a cover of Regret. Way too big for a door, decking 'em out from this house, yeah. Are we breaking down these walls? And then the band crash back into that main riff. One more chorus and that takes us to the song's end. Great stuff. Track 2, Box in My Head. And for this one, step forward, Mr. Buck Dharma. Over a nagging, insistent riff, we get some classic Buck. Those otherworldly lyrics, all those odd rhythmic twists and turns, those old rock and roll guitar motifs, and those harmonies to die for. Buck said in a recent interview that the song was all about the complexities of the human mind. There's a box in my head, and inside is a box, and that box has another box within. There's a box in my skull, the skull is a box, and there's room for us both to go in there. A box in my head, inside is a box, another box within, there's a box in my skull. That skull is a box, and there's room for us both to go in. One thing is very apparent listening to these tracks, is that the band sound really tight and fresh. They sound invigorated. Well, it won't be long now, and hopefully the rest of the album will be as good as these two tracks. If anyone does want to pre-order the album, there's a link in the description. Last thing, Ian Pace, Deep Purple's drummer, came out recently in an interview and said it's incredibly hard to come up with new ideas and songs within Western rock music because it is so limiting musically. Well, fair play to Deep Purple, because with Whoosh they've definitely made a great record. And let's hope, fingers crossed, the same can be said of the new Blue Oyster Cult album. And the very last thing I'm going to say is appreciate these guys while they're still around. Hopefully they can get back to playing live concerts, but appreciate them while they're still around, because there will come a time in the not too distant future when these guys stop making music. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers and stay safe.